Today I'm going to show you how I put together this foam wreath for myself for 4th of July. I wanted to do something really different, really casual, yet really, eye-appealing, and of course also something really cheap. So if you really like this wreath, stay tuned and check out the materials and how I put all of this together. These are the materials that you're going to need to put this wreath together. A hot glue gun, a pair of scissors, which I don't have on hand, hot glue sticks, obviously. You're going to need your foam wreath. This is 14 inches. You're going to need push pins. You're going to need something to resemble your stars. You can do stars if you like. I would recommend something white for sure. I'm using these white buttons as representation for my stars. You're going to need a roll of ribbon that's going to mimic the stripes of the flag, and I'm actually using like a chevron striped pattern. And you're going to need dark blue ribbon if you want to make your wreath like mine. This is like it's like a navy blue satin, and you're going to need 2 spools of this, so about 8 yards, because we're actually also going to use the hanging part of the wreath with this ribbon, and I think that's all you'll need. The first step that you're going to want to take is determine which part of the wreath that you're going to make the blue part of the flag. I actually was just going to do from like 12 o'clock to 9, but I went a little bit over. So I used about 1/3 of the wreath in blue satin, which is fine. And then the rest of the empty section will be your stripes. You're going to need, I know I went ahead and wrapped this, but I will show you how I wrap the stripe part. You're definitely going to want to start, I think this is my starting point, not that it matters. You're going to want to start and secure the ribbon on the back of your wreath. Don't worry about the push pins, showing. It's not going to matter. No one's going to look. You're going to secure this and wrap as tightly as you can around the wreath. I definitely recommend before you put your pins in, not that it actually matters because this is a very forgiving project. I've actually unraveled this thing to do it again for you because I started to make a video. I had this already wrapped and done, but I didn't like my video, so I'm starting it over. So the point is, it's very forgiving. You can do it and do it all over again. It's really difficult to mess up unless you burn your material. So you're gonna want this part right here to be as evenly spaced as possible, just so that visually it looks really nice. And you're gonna wanna pull really tightly so that the ribbon sits on this foam wreath really nicely. You don't want it to look clumpy and out of place. And if that's the case, you can just use some of the push pins to push down material that's kind of sticking out. So to get started, I'm gonna show you how I'm going to start the stripes. Now this ribbon is actually 2.5 inches wide, so I need to keep in mind that I don't want to wrap this closely together. I want to wrap this further apart from each other. So I'm going to find my starting point. I'm actually going to work counterclockwise. So here's the end, and the first thing that I'm going to do is secure this with some push pins. That sound is my dog chewing on a bone, conveniently. Okay, so you really, really want to pull as tightly as you can against this foam wreath. Especially if you're using a ribbon like this that's kind of like a canvas fabric, because you don't want it to get too clumpy. So you definitely want to pull. And as you can see, I'm making sure that I'm covering and there aren't any parts of the foam peeking out, but wide enough to where I'm not going to run out of material, because that's the other thing. You don't want to have to use that much material to do this, because the point is to do this project as cheap as you can. That's actually how I messed up in my first video, was I ran out of the stripes, so I had to unravel it and space it further out so that it would make it. So as you can see, I'm just wrapping really tightly, and I'm also not putting push pins as I go. I'm going to wrap as tightly as I can all the way to the top, and then I will secure once I'm done. So now I've reached the end, and I'm going to secure the red. I know I have some pieces hanging off, but that's okay. I will cut it as soon as I'm done securing this. That doesn't unravel because I want the tightness to stick until this is done. There. Now I can let go. I'm going to take the scissors and cut off the excess. This is a really simple part. You just take the embellishment that you're going to use to represent the stars, lay them first where you want them to go, leave them there, and then go one by one, grab the glue gun, put some hot glue on the back side, and put it right back in its spot that it was laying in. And that's all that I did here. I just picked a couple at random. Obviously I can't add all the stars here, and that's not what I'm actually trying to do. And keep in mind that you want to save some additional space at the top. I forget where my top is. For the ribbon to hang the wreath. The final part of your easy 4th of July wreath is adding the ribbon that you're going to use to hold the wreath and hang on your door hanger, or if you're putting it in your fireplace, maybe you need to skip this step. But if you are going to hang this wreath, this is how I'm doing it. I'm using the same blue satin ribbon, and I'm going to measure it by grabbing the wreath, pulling up like this, and deciding how much ribbon I'm going to need. And I'm actually going to cut a lot of extra because I'm going to make a bow at the top. I don't have exact measurements on this, but I will measure it and put it down in the description bar in case you want that. And if I have extra left over from making the bow, then I'll just cut, at the ends. Because I'm probably not going to reuse this ribbon. And I'd rather cut longer than shorter, because if you cut short, then it's kind of pointless. So, here's what I'm doing. I get to the top, I make sort of a simple knot, like right here, enough to wear, and then I make a bow. And I will probably keep playing with this until I get my bow as big and as pretty as I want it to be. And then we will hang it.